Okay, this is going to be weird. I'm going to like VOD-review my own ambassador PR and slowed down. The idea of this video isn't necessarily to teach others what to do. It's more of showing clearly how little of a fucking clue I have of what I'm doing while I'm actually doing it most of the time. I figured it would be entertaining. I'm also actually kind of interested to see how this went while looking back at it, because during the kill it felt weird at a couple points. So let's see what happens. Starting with my DS and then Ricochet. Get my adren back up. That Ricochet was fortunate, so 110% immediately. Starting with the dark bow. With the wrong crossbow, I noticed. Snapshot. So far so good. Needle strike. Another debow, I hope. Yep. Now I'm rapid firing with my ruby bolts. I don't really know why I did that, because I still have the crit bonus running, so I should have been prioritizing my debows, but the ruby bolts procced once, so I don't know, kind of worked out. Now I just put no weapon on, because I went straight from Eldritch Crossbow to the offhand keybind for my Ricochet switch. We're doing there another debow. 10 seconds left of the DS. My adren is quite low now, so I should be starting to work up enough to do an ECB spec, or at least that was the plan. I don't even remember if I did. There we go. Weird choice to do it with the actual ECB rather than the amulet. Vitality potion to be able to fuck up a little bit more in the ECB for a couple seconds, then another rapid fire with the wrong bolts this time. Supposed to use ruby here. High time to debow another time. There we go. Ricochet back some adren and then debow over face. So 51 second P1 down to 632k. That is above average for range kills, but it's also not amazing. I could probably cut like 5 seconds there, especially if I used my ECB spec more often. Target cycle ECB the first frag and then just ruin it pretty much, but there's not much question to this. When you're eldritching these, you're tearing through them. Doesn't really matter how you do it. At the end of this, I should begin a Natural Instinct and then into an Incendiary Shot to have crit buff for my next DS. I also wanted to ECB the start of that DS because I have a time window where Ambassador is invulnerable. So specking before that happens is just some free damage. Up on the second to last frag, I should be Natural Instincting here. Yep. No, I didn't. Fuck me. I incendied. Oh my god, really? Are you kidding me? I incended the first one, natted the second one instead. From habit, because Natural Instinct used to be on cooldown when I was pre-building differently before the fight. It means I'm gonna have a shorter duration crit bonus and probably lose 1 or 2 debows. 15 seconds going into my DS, that's pretty, I need to do that differently. Ricochet up to 110, because Hydrix and all the pre-building is just ridiculous. ECB, Needle a little bit too late. I wanted to do that before he became vulnerable so I could debow the first thing I do. Should be a snapshot here. Hopefully another dark bow. What the fuck was I thinking? Okay. Well, now I should rapid fire with the rubies. Yep, there we go. Slight prayer hiccup there. Dark bow, yep. Terrible ricochet adren-wise. That's fine. And then hopefully a Shadow Tendril with my ECB. Yes. Right weapon this time. Well done me. Free auto attack. Now I should probably be Eldritching, because I'm building up to an Incendiary and there's just the last of my Death Swiftness there. And there's not much else to do, because I'm waiting for the cooldown of my DS to begin again for the final phase. So I'm building up to an Incend to carry some crit bonus with me into the last phase. And that Incend was done 15 seconds before DS came off cooldown, which is a little bit dumb. I should have probably ECB'd there in that time window. Incended a little bit later, not used Corruption while trying to crit build up my Dren. Bit weird. But this is when I want my DS to be ready again. I screwed that up a little bit, so I ended up losing a couple seconds of doing almost nothing. DS Adren pot with whatever crit bonus I still have from that Incend. Should be debowing now. What the fuck was that? Now, another debow. Now I think I went into... I should be debowing now. Okay, good. Now I think I went into Rapid Fire, which was a pretty dumb choice. I should have ECB'd there instead. Because I have plenty of food and my vitality is back off cooldown, so I could use that again. Hopefully I use that snap. Thank fuck, that would have been embarrassing. Keep devoing the mage hits. Final debow before my DS ends. Oh nice, I managed to sneak in that ricochet as well. And now from this point I kind of don't understand what the hell I was doing, because I just saw the timer and sort of panicked. I should have just probably like Eldritched and Rapid Fire there. Instead I dark bowed, and then I did a fucking piercing shot out of everything and a sacrifice to ruin that whole thing. One thing that's probably fair to add here, even though 331 Ambassador is a decent kill time, especially ranging, if I've understood it correctly anyway. I think ranging is still lagging behind a little bit compared to melee timers. The reason why I'm being so hard on myself is not because everything that isn't top tier is just universally considered dog shit. It's more of me having a decent bit of distance to what I'm doing and knowing that even though I enjoy teaching others and showing off the stuff that I do, I'm kind of not really near the top layer that some people consider me to be. I'm healthy above average, but whenever it comes to actually delivering on the shit that I make up, like following my own rotation ideas or whatever, I really lack in improvisation skills a little bit, and honestly end up just kind of YOLOing stuff for fun, because that's how I work. I've never been really good at tick perfect following something or always making the exact right call. But what I'm trying to say is that shit like this is actually pretty useful. It's good to see what you're doing, what you can improve, and like looking through your own stuff is just giving you another perspective of it, other than in the heat of the moment when you're trying to make the right call in a split second and you end up screwing that up now and then. This shit happens. It doesn't happen to some people. Some people are fucking robots. I'm looking at you, Brian, Evil Lucario. And honestly, it's fine that you fuck stuff up now and then. I just figured that this could probably be an entertaining way of seeing what it is that I'm doing and like kind of my thoughts on it. I'm going to try to improve this because I'm not really happy with 331. I fucked up several segments there that I know that I can do better. Even though, I could probably make a theoretically better rotation for this and give that to someone else. I wouldn't be able to follow it, but I'm pretty convinced that if I do this a couple more times and get a little bit warmer, I should be able to push this down to like the low 320s somewhere, give or take. Whether or not that will be my limit for a while, I have no idea, but I kind of think so. Because it is getting close to the best that I can do. Not the best that's possible, those are two different things, but the best that I can do. And I don't really want to spend, a fucking day and a half repeating the same thing just to iron out some details. I'm not really that dedicated. But thanks for watching, and, enjoy your own PVM.